Dan, it seemed like when you were going to take that penalty kick last, you were calm as guy, like nothing much was going on bothering you at all. Was that the real feeling, or was something else inside?
I think, to be fair, I thought about maybe the pressure would have been a little bit more intense if there wasn't a huge break in between with all of the chaos that went on. I think if it would have just progressed naturally, I think that would have felt a little bit more. I would have felt the moment a little bit more, but with everything that happened, it was sort of just like a major reset for us, and we all were able to kind of collect ourselves, so maybe that helped a little bit. But it was a strange set of circumstances to have to navigate mentally for sure, and I just think that our group did a slightly better job than them, and that was sort of what took us through.
Now, the ambience in between what happened against America and what's going to happen tomorrow, how different it is from the player perspective in terms of, what was going on in the stadium even before the game?
I mean, every player wants to play in atmospheres where it's raucous and difficult, and for us at home, it's been an amazing electric atmosphere. So that's what we really want and take pride in being able to do every game and to put on a show for those guys. But like you said, I think the MLS competition, I don't want to say lacks because that's a negative word, but it certainly doesn't have the added element of a fan base as spirited as what we saw with America the last 2 years. It's been a really special environment, and the games have produced some pretty great games. But for an MLS opponent that we've had here before, that we have experience playing against, obviously that's a little bit different of a dynamic. But for us, I think we just focus on what we can control, and that's showing up and putting on a show.
Because in terms of playing on the back, the middle right there with all these guys that are supposed to be, when they are good goal scorers and stuff, the fact that you were able to hold them even though they scored twice on you guys, how was the feeling afterwards when everything happened?
I mean, yeah, we felt like the first, 75, 80 minutes, we had a very good game. So to even let in one goal, let alone 2 goals, was disappointing. Yeah, I mean, our objective as a back line is to keep a clean sheet every game. And I think we have, the chemistry and guys that work hard enough, and that's what they want. That's what we want every single game. So anytime we concede 1 or 2 goals is not good enough.
Questions here in the room?
Guys, just for both of you, for the success you guys have had on set pieces so far just through the tournament, to the last 2 home games, just what kind of emphasis have you guys put on that in training these past few weeks, and just how confident you guys feel specifically on the corner kicks, and Dan, for you, just from a service perspective on what you guys have been able to do over the past few games?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're finally starting to see the benefits of the amount of energy that we put into that part of the game, for sure. From a personal delivery standpoint, I think we try to keep things as simple as possible and know that you don't really have to hit a perfect ball all the time when you have guys like Lucas and Jack and Walker, of course, Josh Bauer, attacking the ball. You really just have to put it in an area and make sure that our timing's good, and make sure that these guys coordinate their runs, and we take our time when we go there. We understand how important these moments are in games, as we've seen these last few. And it's something that we really take pride in and hope to continue to have as a feature of our game offensively, but continue to do a good job on the defensive side and make sure that we're not letting teams in games via the same way we're trying to attack them. So certainly an area of emphasis, but one I think we can continue to improve on.
Guys, going up against a playmaker like Emmanuel Reynoso, obviously his skill set kind of speaks for itself. What's the most important thing in just taking away his ability to create and pull the strings that he does, with obviously a wide-ranging ability, whether it's crossing, shots from distance, dribbling? Is there anything at the top of the list with him as a left footer that is at sort of top of mind defensively to take away when it comes to limiting his space to operate?
I mean, I think, there's a lot of good players in this league at the moment, and we train with one of the best guys, Hani Mukhtar, every day. So it's just about, limiting what he's able to do. There's not one thing that you can say, if we do this, he's not going to be able to play. But just being aware of all the things that he can produce and how he can get other players involved in the game. So yeah, I mean, we practice with the best every day, so hopefully that sets us up well.
go ahead and go with, on Zoom, we'll go with Valer.
Hey Lucas, just in terms of being part of a center back group that's also playing with each other but also kind of competing for the same spots, how has that experience been for you, especially playing a back four where there's only two of you guys on the field? How do you feel with guys that you're sharing the time with?
It's actually a situation that I don't think I've ever been in where you have a group of center backs that, yeah, it's competing, but we're all so encouraging of each other. And it's never like if I'm not playing, or I'll speak for the others, if they're not playing, I think, you know, we want each other to score, we want each other to play, we want the team to do well above anything else. So it's very unique in that way where we all trust each other and we all hope that, you know, we can help the team win, and that's pretty much the most important thing.
Okay, we'll go next with John Lupo.
Gentlemen, they seem to have a much more diversified attack with Pookie in there now. We know what Reynoso can do. I can't pronounce his last name, so I call him Bongo, the gentleman from Minnesota who's been scoring fun recently. You guys play such outstanding defense. What do you think will be some of the keys in order, if you can't stop them completely, to just contain their...
I think Lucas touched on it briefly when addressing the danger that a guy like Reynoso poses, but I think the easy answer for us is that we focus on ourselves, and like you mentioned, what makes us a good team defensively is that we have 11 guys that are bought into our philosophy and they're all able to execute their roles independently, but create a collective style of play that makes us incredibly tough to break down. So that's something that's constantly in the works. We're by no means a finished product. As Lucas mentioned, we're in the business of clean sheets, and we haven't had enough of them, to be frank. So when we look at a team like Minnesota coming to play, they have a lot of good players in the attacking side of the game, and that's often what you see when you play against other teams. I mean, Reynoso's a fabulous talent. He's been an absolute nightmare to play against in the past and a delight to watch, but everyone wearing the number 10 shirt certainly is pretty good. As Lucas said, we have one of those as well. And it's more about us and focusing on the style of play that has made us successful, especially at home, in our history and certainly this year, and something that we look as just another opportunity to continue to improve in that way.
Any more questions on Zoom or in the room?
One more.
Go ahead.
For Dan, the guy's been here since that inaugural season. Gary talked about, this was after the Cincinnati game, I believe, of checking the box as far as winning a penalty shootout and being able to get over that hump as a unit. Is that something that you guys talked about as players as a point of emphasis, or was it more something that didn't even really need to be said? I mean, how much was that kind of at the forefront of your mind when you're heading into the shootout against Cincinnati and now having done it back-to-back games?
Yeah, it was no secret that we've undergone some growing pains, if you will, in penalty shootouts and some very important moments in our MLS career. But at the same time, I think it's certainly not something that we would dwell on. I would agree it's at the forefront of our mind when we are presented with those situations, but it's just, as always, regardless of what the history is, anytime you step into a penalty shootout, it's just a clear reflection of the mental state of the group and the character of the group and of the individuals going up there to do their job. So for us, it was only up from the Philadelphia outing, if you will, and moving forward, the Orlando Open Cup loss was equally painful, but more than anything, we just look to win games in regulation. I think that's the moral of the story here, and it's great to have two positive experiences from the PK spot, so recent in our memory, but I think the majority of our energy is certainly going into handling business within regulation and making sure that we're able to get things done in the right way, but it's certainly something we're aware of in terms of the recent success we've had, and we'll just try to keep that going if that's what needs to happen. But we look forward to putting together a complete game and keeping a shutout and scoring a couple goals. So that's really where we're at the moment.